morning everyone, welcome back if you are new. It is a beautiful rainy Sunday. I have just made Biscoff fudge and I am on a mission today to finish this book. If you watched my video from last week, you would know that this took me way longer than it should have. I have had a very busy week. I've had a lot going on, haven't had the most reading time in the world. However, I've also been watching lots of dance mums and scrolling a lot on TikTok, but today that ends. We're getting back into it. I am 230 pages into Archangel's Heart by Nalini Singh. This is book 9 in the Guild Hunter series, and we are going to finish this one. If you watched my last video, you would know that my current thoughts on this is that it kind of seems to be a bit of a filler book. Not much is really happening, but it's nice. It's a good book. It's not bad. Enjoying it for what it is, but I do want to get it over with because I am very excited for some of the other books we have coming up this month, and so it is my priority to get to them as soon as possible. Let's get reading. Okay, so I just finished Archangel's Heart. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. Of course, my storage became full the immediate second I started talking. Okay, so Archangel's Heart, I'm gonna give this one a 4 out of 5. It was definitely a little bit more of a filler book in the series, but I actually quite enjoyed that because it didn't follow the regular format, and I thought the sort of character interactions between Elena and Raphael were much nicer. There was like no smut in this, which I actually really appreciated because I've said it a couple times, but I don't think smut writing is Nalini's strong suit, but she puts it in all of her books. So it was nice to actually not be in it this time. I appreciated it. So essentially in this book, it is a 2-year time skip from the last one. The Li Juan, the Archangel of China, is missing. They don't know if she's dead or if she's gone into like sleep. And the cadre, who are all the other archangels in the world, are called to go to Lumia to discuss, to determine whether Li Juan is asleep or dead or alive. And if she is asleep or dead, her lands need to be redivided up among the rest of the cadre, because all territory needs to be governed by an archangel, essentially, to prevent bloodlust rising up among the vampires. And there have been outbreaks of bloodlust among the vampires in Li Juan's territory, so they need to get on top of this quite quickly. So they go to Lumia, which is in Morocco, and Elena, she has Moroccan ancestry. Her grandmother is from Morocco, but she doesn't know much more beside that because her mother was orphaned. It was like convenient for her that Lumia is in Morocco because she wants to see if she can find out anything more about her ancestry. So Lumia is like the headquarters of the Luminata, which are like an angelic religious sect, for lack of better description. But when they get there, Elena and a bunch of the other archangels and angels have a feeling that something is off in this place. And so essentially Elena's task for this book is like, she wants to discover more about her ancestry, and she wants to, and they're trying to sort of figure out what is not tracking right in Lumia. And yeah, that's essentially the plot of the story, is those two things. But it was really nice. I really enjoyed the character interactions in this one. I liked her relationship with Raphael a lot in this. We got a lot more of Adahan, which I really appreciated. More interactions with her and Hannah and Kellyanne and even Tasha. So yeah, it was good. It was solid. No complaints. Like, obviously this is not my favorite book series in the world, but my friend wants me to read them, so I'll read them, and they're not terrible. Like, some of them have been much better than others. This one is like just a solid 4. Decent read, no problems, but I'm excited to move on to the next book. If you watch my May TBR, you know what it will be. I'm so excited. I just edited and uploaded my reading vlog. Now we're getting right back into this one. So excited for Soul of the Fire. Hi, happy Monday. Time to tune in and read Soul of the Fire. It is 7 p.m. I'm finally in bed. I finished one of my readings for uni this afternoon, so that is good. I only got 10 pages into Soul of the Fire yesterday. I was just too damn tired. Hello, happy Tuesday. Welcome to today's reading update. So I've just been doing uni work today, but while I was watching the movie I have to watch for my criminology class, I was in part getting some reading done for Soul of the Fire. I am now 126 pages in, so I've made some headway, but obviously not into the meat of it just yet. But I hope to get a little bit further in as today goes on. Terry Goodkind's writing for me at this point is just so comfortable. Like, you don't know what's going to happen or how it's going to go, but the patterns in the beginning of the book are kind of the same, if that makes sense. You know, Richard is kind of onto something because he's the seeker of truth, and Zed and Anne are kind of like leading him astray unintentionally on their part because they think that certain things haven't occurred that are required for the chimes to be released into the world. But you as the reader know that the requirements actually are satisfied, but at this point none of the other characters have figured it out, not even Richard. At least I don't think. And everyone has been doubting him, which you should never doubt Richard. I've also just been introduced to a new character in this, character called Fitch, who actually is of a different race or nationality, ethnicity, something in the book called Haken. And what's funny about that so far is that his dream is to be the seeker of truth and hold the sword of truth. So it will be interesting to see what happens with Fitch, and if Fitch is going to be a friend or a foe, and how he will react to finding out that there already is a seeker. Every time a character is first introduced in these books and like we have their POV, every single time I've been like, who is this person? Get them out of my book. But I have ended up loving them or appreciating them and understanding the necessity of their point of view each time. So yeah, be very interested to see what happens with Fitch and how the rest of this book is going to go. This is a big boy, but I want to pump through it. Today I found out that in a few weeks' time I'm going to the UK and I'm going for work, and I'm going to be there for about 4 months, which is awesome, so great. But I think I'm going to reorder my TBR a little bit for this month so that I do Soul of the Fire and Faith of the Fallen back to back, so I can return them to my friend before I leave. And then for the other 2 books on my TBR, I am not sure if I'm going to be able to get to them before I leave. And if I don't, I guess I'm just gonna have to read on my Kindle. So I started a book on my Kindle today to read while I'm at the gym. I believe it's called Wanna Play a Game by Ali, I think her name is. I'm reading it at my friend's recommendation. She was talking to me about it the other day, and it's like dark, terrible romance sort of books that we're into, and she has been waxing lyrical about it, telling me I should read it, and it's not very long, so I've decided that's going to be my gym read for the moment. So I've made a decent chunk in that while I was on the Stairmaster today, and it's not bad so far. I mean, is it bad? Yeah. Do I like bad books? Yes, we also know this to be true. Anyway, it's 3:30 p.m, but I am starving from the gym. So I'm gonna go make an early dinner, and then we'll check in again for a little bit of reading. Hi, happy Wednesday, and welcome to today's update. I have been, gosh, I've just had a hectic day at work, but I won't elaborate because you didn't come here to be stressed out by my problems. You came here for us to talk about books. I did get a little reading done this afternoon, but not much because I was just trying to watch Dance Moms and de-stress, and I did read a bit before work this morning. I want to read a lot more tonight, but I am shortly going to head off to have a dinner. My uncle is in town for a conference, so that's excellent, and we're gonna go eat steak. But Soul of the Fire, I'm making decent headway. I would love to get halfway through. I'm now, because of going to the UK and the tight timeline I'm on, I'm now trying to get through Soul of the Fire and Faith of the Fallen quite quickly so I can give them back to my friend before I leave. But I'm 196 pages in, so I'm getting closer to the halfway point. I'm probably a bit over 25%. I wish I was further through, but hopefully if I have enough energy tonight after I get back from dinner, I can knock out a bit more. This is good so far, but it's heavy on the politicking, especially politicking for new characters that we haven't heard of before in a part of the world that we haven't heard of before. So it's a bit different. I am missing Richard and Kaylin a little bit, I'm not gonna lie to you. But I always do find fantasy politicking very interesting. So I'm not totally averse to it, but it'll be very interesting to see how things go. We have the new character Fitch, who I talked about, but we also are now focusing on, I guess, one of his masters, Dalton. I forget his surname, but Dalton, kind of a bad guy, I'm getting the vibe. Bit of a power player for sure. He's politicking really, really hard to get into a certain position, and he's doing some probably not morally excellent things, and getting the Hackens to do morally not so good things. But I'm not sure where he's going to side yet, if he's going to eventually become an ally to Richard, or if he is going to side with the enemy. But I think I said the same thing in yesterday's update. I'm just so comfortable with Terry Goodkind's writing right now. Like, it's a bit, you have to go through a lot of frustrating elements to get to an ending that was extremely worth all the frustration. So that's one thing to keep in mind. It's not exactly the most relaxing reading experience of your entire life, but for me, it's enjoyable every look of the way. But as anyone who's watched a few of my videos will know, for me, it's not so much about what the emotions are, as long as I feel an emotion that isn't entirely boredom. So if something frustrates me a ton, that's a good thing to me. I'm like, ah, the writer is doing something frustrating and it's making me frustrated. They're doing their job. So we'll see how this goes. I imagine by the end of it, it'll be another 5 out of 5 for me because I'm easy to impress. My friend said this one is probably not one of her favorites. She didn't really remember what happened in this book until I was talking to her about it today, and she's like, oh, where are you up to? What's going on? And I was like, oh, this, and this character, and this has happening, and this conflict is going on. And she's like, oh, that's right. I didn't remember it until you said it. Probably not one of the most memorable books in the series in the grand scheme of things, but I know this is going to set us up really well for Faith of the Fallen, which is my friend's favorite book, which bodes well for me. Now I've got probably like 15 minutes until I have to leave, so we'll get a little bit of footage, reading footage right now. I'm fully dressed, I'm even in my docs, but you know, I just won't put my feet on the couch. Happy Friday! The work week is finally over, thank goodness. This week has been crazy, especially with all the last minute travel preparations I've had to do for going to the UK, but it looks like my travel prep is finally pushing along a little bit, and I am beginning to get excited to go over there and starting to move past the stress. But once my flights are all officially booked, I'm going to feel so much better about it. And I'm just trying to think ahead to all the beautiful books I will see while I'm in the UK. Soul of the Fire update. Also, please excuse what the tan looks like on my wrists. I have done everything in my power to get this tan off, and it won't. So we're just gonna ignore that. I am about 40% through. I've been trying so hard to polish this book off, but I've just been exhausted the past few days. Last night I was really wanting to get to page 400, but I only managed to get to 315 before I was so exhausted I just had to stop reading. This is good, but it's slow at the same time. We were away from Richard and Kaylin for multiple chapters, and now we're finally getting back with them a little bit. I know that some things will come up and it should get exciting. Not that it's not exciting. Things are happening, things are moving, but the build-up to the major conflict in Terry's books are always really slow. But I am enjoying it. I'm enjoying it a lot, actually. It's not Stone of Tears. I don't know if any books in the series will ever top Stone of Tears, but we'll see how we go. But yeah, this could easily be another 5-star for me, especially once things really get pumping. So I'm excited to finish this and read Faith of the Fallen, because I've heard very good things about Faith of the Fallen. So yeah, keen to see how much of this I can finish today, and hopefully I will be back with you soon for another update. I really wanted to go for a walk this morning to check on the swans, but the weather is just, it's been like this for days. Good afternoon, happy Saturday. I have finally finished Soul of the Fire. Oh my gosh. I was getting like so close to the end and not much had really happened, and I thought, oh, this one will probably be like a 4.5, but Terry Goodkind, in typical Terry Goodkind fashion, wrapped everything up right at the very end. This book made me cry. I have felt all the emotions in this series before, but never before has one of these books made me cry. This one did. Also, the ending, I am so confused but so intrigued. It's just like, I am all up in my feels. So much happened in this book. Oh my gosh. But one thing I have to say is ultimate respect to Terry for how strong he makes the women in this series. Honestly, there are like hardly any powerful, redeemable, genuinely good guys in this series other than, say, Richard and Zed, but there are so many women in this series who are redeemable, powerful, good women. It's amazing. I just wish the characters would just tell each other things. You know how many problems we would avoid if they just told each other things? It's crazy. But now that I've finished this, I know in my TBR for the month I said I was going to read Swordcatcher after this book, but I'm on a bit of a tight deadline before I leave the country, and I want to return these books to my friend before I leave, so I'm launching right into Faith of the Fallen. This is another big boy. Soul of the Fire was 711 pages, and this one is 767, so another big boy from Terry Goodkind. And of course, the text is tiny, but I am so excited for this. I had mentioned a couple times that this is my friend's favorite book in the series, so I'm very curious to see what will happen. I messaged her when Soul of the Fire made me cry, and she said, haha, sorry, Faith of the Fallen will probably make you cry as well. So I'm like, oh gosh. I'm so excited to get started on this tonight. However, I am gonna wrap this one up here though. I need to edit this vlog and get a bunch of uni done, and then hopefully dive into that book tonight. And of course I will pick the vlog back up for the next week on Sunday, as I always do. So thank you so much if you've stuck around to the end. I hope you enjoyed this video. I appreciate your time. And I hope you will consider subscribing, liking, leaving a comment. I would love to see more of you in my future videos. That's all from me. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.